this is going to be a hot take, and it's either going to get me canceled or people are going to be like, you're right. So here we go. I'm just going to say it. Black people have got to stop hanging out with groups of white people. And I mean that. If you're going to be the only black person in that group, go home. Go home. Because these days, you just can't trust white people anymore. Obviously. It happens time and time and time again. You see one black person hanging out with their group of white friends, and they're like, oh, I've known these guys for forever. We grew up with them. I'm the only black person in the high school or something like that. Especially down here in the South, okay? Down here in the South. Obviously, we realize that these pieces of crap, the white people, will turn on you. They will turn on you quick. So not only do y'all have to be worried about the police, now you need to be worried about your group of white friends that you grew up with. And am I saying every white person's like that? No, obviously not. Okay, but better be safe than sorry, right? And that's a shame. But I just keep seeing it happen. And like over the past, like, 2 or 3 years, especially, if you know what I'm talking about, people have just gotten louder and prouder about it. So really it all boils down to like a lack of empathy these days. That's a whole nother subject though. But yeah, and don't come for me about my hair. I just got them running 5 miles.
I posted a video yesterday about 17 black people who died mysteriously and quickly realized that this list is never ending. If you're white, please watch all the way through. We are not allowed to look away when we feel uncomfortable anymore. On June 29th, just last week, Gerard Jackson went to a music festival with his white friends before one of them contacted his mom and said he was missing and having a mental health crisis. His family says he's never struggled with that before. His friends say they took his phone and keys away and he must have taken his keys back while they were sleeping, even though he didn't take his phone. He was found hanging in a wooden area with his car over a mile from the festival grounds. During the period that he didn't have his phone, there were several attempts to log into his bank account and his Apple Pay was used at a local gas station. His family says there's no way he killed himself, and on top of all of this, they cremated his body without their permission. Tonia Nicole Miller was found hanging in a tree in Miami just 3 weeks ago on June 18th. She was there to celebrate Juneteenth and her death was ruled a suicide. Why the fuck would she post on Instagram that she was traveling for Juneteenth and then proceed to... In November of 2024, 15-year-old Jalen Reeves was stabbed to death 6 times by a 14-year-old white boy. That boy was later cleared of his second-degree murder charges claiming self-defense, and guess what? His dad is a high-level executive at Axon. What's Axon, you might ask? An American company primarily developing weapons and technology for military and law enforcement, known for its taser electroshock weapons, a market it has dominated since 2003. He works for a police weapons manufacturer. In 2021, Jelani Day went missing and his remains were found weeks later in an Illinois river. Police ruled it an accidental drowning, and his mom calls that an insult. She said Jelani was an avid swimmer and avid swimmers don't drown themselves. He has never had depression or struggled with mental health. In 2020, 15-year-old Kawan Charles was picked up by his white friend and his friend's mom, who allegedly gave them alcohol, weed, and mushrooms and didn't report him missing for 4 days after he said he was going to kill himself and left their house. He was found lying face down in a sugarcane field with only a few inches of water, and the official report says he likely drowned himself on purpose. How he could have drowned himself in 6 inches of water is beyond me. Willie Jones Jr. was found hanging in his white girlfriend's parents' Mississippi yard in 2018. Her stepfather says he didn't touch him, but Willie's family says he had an athletic injury that limited his shoulder mobility to the point that he physically couldn't have hung himself. Of course, it was ruled a suicide. The family did win a wrongful death lawsuit 3 years later, but to this day, no arrests have been made. In 2013, Kendrick Johnson was found inside a vertical rolled-up gym mat at his high school in Georgia. The initial investigation showed the cause of death as accidental, but when the family hired someone to perform a private autopsy, it showed the cause of death as blunt force trauma. Another interesting fact here, the 2 possible suspects were both the sons of an FBI agent. That was part of the lawsuit they tried to win, but for some reason, it didn't work out for them. Alonzo Brooks went to a party with his 3 white friends in 2004, was called racial slurs. His friends left him at the party with the perpetrators. He went missing and his body was found on the property a month later. The local pathologist couldn't determine a cause of death, but then an armed forces medical examiner concluded it was homicide. To this day, we have no answers. These are only the most public of cases and not even a fraction of them. Black people deserve to grow old.
I'm going to talk about a video that I saw today, and I'm not going to show this video because it was evil. It was fucking demonic, and I will not be showing the footage on my page, but I do want to talk about it. A young black girl with epilepsy named Audrey Mazarek was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten by a group of white friends of hers. And I need you to understand that this is not teenage drama. It's not friends who had too much to drink and got out of hand. It's not a fight that escalated too far. It's not some mean girl's quirky aesthetic. This was evil. It was a group of white girls who got their black friend so intoxicated she could not properly defend herself, and then they turned her suffering into entertainment. They hit her. They jumped on her. They smothered her face as she was screaming out. One of them, you can literally hear them say, "Where can we hide the body?" And they're laughing while they're doing all of this. That is not bullying. This was a sequence of choices. They got her vulnerable, they surrounded her, they terrorized her, they filmed it, and they laughed about it. And we need to talk about the racial component here without someone having to scream a slur before we bring it up. A black girl was isolated among 3 white girls, and she was stripped of her safety, she was physically overpowered, she was dehumanized, and she was treated as disposable. And black people do not have the luxury of watching footage like that outside the surrounding history. So I want to say this directly to the black community. I see why this would enrage you. I see why this kind of video would be absolutely terrifying for you. And I, for one, do not want to see a bunch of whitewashing these 3 girls and their bright futures and that they just made a mistake. We absolutely should not sanitize this level of demonic behavior. I do not care what that young girl could have possibly said or done at any moment in her life leading up to that night. She did not deserve that, and all 3 of those girls need to be fully investigated.
They're teaching their babies to kill our babies. They're teaching their babies to manipulate our babies into thinking they're friends, thinking they're boyfriend and girlfriend, thinking they're just neighbors. They're teaching their babies to kill our babies, just as they killed our parents, and then their parents killed their parents, our parents' parents, and so on and so forth. We're watching history repeat itself, and we're teaching our babies to trust everybody, that not all of them are evil, to trust blindly, disregard history because it happened already, and not everybody's perfect. We're teaching our babies that if you come as a group of 4, you leave as a group of 4, and if you can't leave as a group of 4, you call the fucking police, and you stay there. And if you can't stay there for whatever reason, you make sure you are heavily involved, especially if you came as a group. We're teaching our babies that it's okay for them to make little white racist jokes, and that they're not racist just because they said something that was microaggressive. We're teaching our babies to just disregard that. The fact that we continue to teach our children that these people are safe, when history, and I'm not talking about hundreds of years ago, I'm not even talking about 50 fucking years ago, when history, recent fucking history, has proven that they have never, ever been safe for us. It has never, in the anomalies, the onesie-twosie abolitionists or the onesie-twosie activists that really care about black rights, I respect them, but I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the community that you belong to. They have never been trustworthy. The fact that, I saw a lady point this out and it irked my soul. The fact that they took that baby's life on the 4th of July. And if you don't know what the 4th of July is in American history, it's not about fucking independence. It's about patriarchy and white supremacy, specifically white supremacy. Do you know that the KKK chose the 4th of July to celebrate, at the top of Stone Mountain, by the way, to celebrate, and how they celebrated was they burned a cross, and they uttered and shouted white supremacist like views and shit, and then they went into town and they found any old black people that they could find, and they dragged them back up to Stone Mountain and hung them there, or they hung them in the city and then dragged them around the city. The 4th of July is so symbolic, and I don't give a fuck what nobody say. The 4th of July and the fact that it was water is so symbolic. And I need my people, if this isn't investigated properly and it's just left as, oh, it's a suicide or it's a drowning, I need us to take action. I need you to rally. And I'm not talking about protest. I'm talking about activate. If you take, I take. I need you to hear through the words that I'm saying right now. I'm not worried about these people behind me. I don't give a fuck no more. But I need us to teach our children different. Teach your children Black history. Maybe that's what Black history is supposed to be in this world right now. It's just to show you and to remind you that they're not safe. We aren't safe. And it's not anything that's going to change without us enforcing some sort. Honestly, we don't have, I can't say, but it's not going to change until we do. And I guess I just wanted to make this video because I've gotten a lot of DMs of people asking me to put like my views on it. Honestly, it's not respectful for me to talk about the case because I don't know the details of the case. And this is a person's life, and this is a family member lost. I didn't know him, but that's my brother, that's my baby, that's my nephew. He looked like me, so he was part of my family. And I don't feel like it's appropriate to speak on the case so much as the situation. So yeah, that's all I got today. May his soul rest in peace. I hope his family gets justice. I hope they don't take what we all know they're gonna give him, which is bullshit. They're gonna feed them bullshit. I hope the family continues to fight, and I hope the immediate Black community within that area activates. I love y'all.
Nolan Wells, a Black teenager, went out with his white friends and never came back. Here are 3 pieces of evidence that you need to know about that point to something being really fucking shady. Obviously, you could look at this case in relation to other instances of Black people going out with primarily white groups of people and not making it home. This is not a one-off case. Number 1, the first thing is that Nolan Wells did not have his cell phone. What 18-year-old doesn't have their cell phone? I'm 23 and will go everywhere with it. He was left on the boat and he was found dead on the island completely away from his phone. Number 2, his family is actually flying Nolan out to get a private independent autopsy, and they have concerns over deleted messages on his cell phone. The worst part about all of this is that Nolan's friends are insistent that the reason they left him on this island is because he was talking to a girl, and it's actually his fault because he wanted to talk to a girl and he was drunk that something happened. And number 3, yes, Nolan's family has hired a prominent civil rights attorney, as they should, because they...
The reason why I don't have no white friends is because they are passive aggressive people. I said what I said. They are. The amount of times I could tell you a white person has brushed past me without saying excuse me, literally said some weird shit out of their mouth, and I had to tell them what you said, ask them what you said, like check them about it, is insane. Another reason is also that a lot of white people lack self-awareness. They lack it so bad. I understand that we are living in a white supremacist society, but watch how y'all act around people or how y'all talk to people. Some of y'all lack self-awareness, and it shows each and every time. And not to mention, like, I feel as though for me as a Black person, I'm obviously self-aware a lot of times because I know how Black people are perceived on the media, in society. Wherever I go, I know how Black people are perceived or how a Black person is perceived as. However, being around white people, you realize that they don't have that same problem. So they are able to do and say whatever they want. And when they get too comfortable, you got to start checking them. Period.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel once again. This is your girl, Her Excellency. Okay, if you are coming across this channel for the first time, thank you so much for clicking on this video. You're welcome. Okay, today we're talking about how Black folks have been losing their lives hanging out with their white friends. Okay, there has statistics that has been on from generation, from time immemorial, that whenever you're the only Black hanging out with white, you end up being dead. It has been proven times and times again. And I keep wondering why our fellow Blacks will not just learn. You might tell yourself that, oh, you're the exception. These ones really liked me. They will not hurt me. No, you're not the exception. It's just a matter of time and you get killed. So many Black folks are losing their lives. You cannot be the exception. They don't like you. Get that into your head and accept it. There's a saying that says that if someone shows you who they are, believe them. Don't feel, oh, they are joking. This cannot be true. When someone shows you who they are, believe them and walk away. What's there in being friends with whites? You have your fellow blacks. Be friends with them, hang out with them, because your life matter. When you lose your life, your loved ones will never remain the same. They will miss you, they will cry, they will grieve. So why cause them pain by hanging out with people that don't mean well for you? You are the prey, blacks are the prey. Get that, because you are not the exception. And it's so sad. I don't know why. Oh, this is sad. So guys, I really need to hear your thoughts on this topic. Come and enlighten us. Tell us ways on how black folks can stay safe. If you've had such experience, you can share your comments, your thoughts in the comment section. Let's hear you. I'll see you in my next video. You know I love you, right? Bye. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is your girl, Her Excellency, and if you're coming across this channel for the first time, I do hope you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, like and share. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by. Please, my disclaimer, this channel does not support violence or any form of hate. Please don't go about searching for the people that I talk about in my videos. Don't hurt them, because this channel is strictly for educational purposes. Thank you for stopping by. You're welcome.